Again, I was muted, and thankfully, I mean, not really. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We're going to be streaming the day 6 of the CBL 2024 APAC group stage, and this will be the final of the group stage. Next, we'll be heading on into the regional tournament, so that will be the second and first of the. So it'll be a knockout. Style. There'll be a knockout style endeavor. Why is there 3.5 hours allocated to it? I think I don't know why 3.5 hours is allocated to day 7, but only 1.5 hours allocated to day 3. So that's really weird. Hopefully they fix that. And again, 17 hours, 3.5 hours allocated to it. Anyway, sorry about that. Tonight, we have... So for tonight, we have FNR versus TLDR on Hailong Fjord, BOD versus GNG on Kuruk Castle. Later tonight, we'll have MKT versus DOC and VNH versus AP. We're going to be... So MKT versus Doc is on Hailong Fjord. VNH versus AP is on Kuruk Castle. So we've got a Hailong Fjord Kuruk Castle kind of thing. Very fascinating to see Kuruk Castle come out, especially since I'm thinking BOD and GNG haven't fought on Kuruk Castle, either of them. I think it's mostly just been Hailong Fjord. But it would be very spectacular to see these two. So we're going to be watching the BOD versus GNG fight and the MKT versus the DOC fight. So this will be the two matches I'll be watching, and I hope everyone enjoys the show. But nevertheless, they have just started. So we got about 3 minutes before we can enter observer mode. Hopefully everything is working correctly. Ooh, what? Don't say that. You can't say that you participate in two teams. I mean, like, Fenris is probably not gonna make it through the Fenris is probably not gonna make it through the group phase, but he might actually get TLDR disqualified as well. even as a joke, to not join game, so TLD. Okay, so apparently TLDR just wins, just straight wins. Ugh. Mike 26. Do you think that's an L move? Say that you're playing for two teams? Alrighty, off to watch Correct Castle BOD versus MKT. Sorry, BOD versus GNG. Sorry about that. I definitely know what I'm talking about. But we're here on Correct Castle. BOD attacking first. Looking at the lineup, Musket on the BOD brings out the Shirt Diners. I definitely do think that the Shirt Diners are underappreciated, better than the Alchemist at the very least. Alchemist can be useful, but it's kind of strange. We got quite a few Iron Reapers coming out from GNG. Going to go for that serious firepower. We do see a pickup of the Phalanx unit, 4 on the BOD side, 3 on the GNG side. When it heads to the base point, I do think these guys are going to be very important, but for the first section, I think the wall is not their style, though they can be very useful. Tight corridors and spaces makes them not ideal, but at the same time, those stair corners can be quite terrifying, if I do say so. You need a lot of space for these guys, so the more space the better. We also have quite a few Demez Spearmen coming out from BOD. Lots of mortars chosen out. I think GNG is going to probably try to delay as much possible on the wall. We'll see how this goes. Interestingly enough, we do have a random surf unit coming out from Arthur P. King. Immediately onto those culverins. We're going to be shooting off of all of those starter artillery. One of the most important phases, I would say. Whoever wins the artillery gets the advantage, and if the defenders get the advantage on artillery, that is quite devastating. You have no idea. Whoa! Facing the wrong way. Catches just the tail end. We got a couple of Iron Cap scouts rummaging through. Murders a bit of the Metallators, but gets caught by the heroes. Not sure if that was worth it. Let's see if they can pick up anything else. Unlikely. I think the unit is way too damaged. Not enough units. Not a great exchange, and definitely not a good start. When you want to do a sally out, you want to have a significant force, and also you want to, well, I say significant force. You kind of want to need to cause some havoc. So sally out is really about taking advantage of the weakness of the enemy. Once you saw those phalanx appear, I think you should have stopped. The Mez Spearman decides to just waltz on through. Not sure why. Probably just forgot to control them. Loses a couple guys, but it's not too much of a problem. I did think that they were going to destroy the siege towers. It didn't look like they put too much effort into it. We got BOD massing up here on the left-hand siege tower. We got a small contingent. Imperial Pike Guard with ISG and Iron Reapers in the back. Let's see if there's any reinforcement. 2 Iron Reapers in reserve with a Wu Wei Mansion Guards heading up. Could be a very, very quick fight. I do think that the advantage here is for BOD. Got more people and more ready if they decide to go up. musket bombs destroys that mortar, but there's still 2 left. Definitely look like more people rocking up. Phalanx also pulling forward. Phalanx are a really good support unit, but not spectacular just by themselves. The real struggle here is to get enough, is to get as many Ares Flurry as possible. You want to make use of your range. You want to make use, you definitely want to make use of your range. The best way to counter, well, I mean, the best way to counter any unit is to outrange them or completely overwhelm them. Fortunately, Phalanx units are easier to overwhelm because of the long pike Super Lance trait. They have a dead zone, so units directly in front of them, they cannot attack. Although Ares Flurry doesn't have that limitation, it does look like the Wu Wei Mansion Guards at the back. We are off. We got 2 Imperial Spear Guards fighting off against each other. We got the... Whoa! We also got the Shenji! Throws a grenade straight on, and boom! We see multiple explosions as the Zycelian Militia just annihilates the middle section of their own team. And we have some more Zycelian Militia throws. Does look like the Wu Wei Mansion Guard did not go in for the flank, but it is devastating at the front here. We got the... we have Iron Reapers versus Iron Reapers with Wu Wei in support. Does look like it's winning for... Does look like BOD is winning. Trebs themselves here. Whoa! Massive amounts of friendly fire, but they do win the battle. Nevertheless, now moving on. How many people has died? Quite a few. Doesn't look like... Looks like 3 to 2 just now. GNG did keep a contingent here at the A point. Not sure how many... I'm not sure if they're willing to stick it out. I do think the losses were actually quite even. I think just slightly in favor of BOD. Really good start for GNG on that fight. Too bad they did not commit enough units to the fight. Big thing is if your Zycelian Militia or Siphonarioids dies while they are on fire or dies to fire damage, you're going to explode. And it's not a small amount of damage because no amount of armor is going to protect you. An entire unit of the Zycelian Militia just exploding in the center of the line actually took out most of their Iron Reapers. It was actually quite devastating. The respawn for the A point is actually quite interesting. You get to spawn just behind your supply point, and the respawn for GNG allows them to just get straight onto that point. Surprisingly, they did lose a little bit more, so the exchange here was not spectacular. GNG still holding the advantage on the wall though. Big, massive push for BOD to move to the back section again. Interestingly enough, does not decide to push that right-hand siege tower. That right-hand siege tower is a little bit safer, but I'm not sure why they're not deciding to push that, but instead pushing the left-hand wall. Would be interesting as well if they just went straight to B. I think GNG would be put in a very tight position. But here's another thing. Oh man, I can't tell. I'm not sure if the supply point is open for the B side, so that's just another thing. Wu Wei going down towards the Phalanx. Phalanx is caught in a tough spot, not able to kill off any of the the Wu Wei just gets instantly rinsed out by a Shenji grenade. Another ISG comes in, but a couple of Trebs are gonna... Good Treb, 2 Trebs. Partial damage. That last one did hit hard. But nevertheless, it was just the ISG just holding on. Bad fight for GNG. I think they're going to fight to the last. That's probably their best option. Unfortunately, they're continuously losing out on multiple fronts. Phalanx gets trebbed. Imperial Pike Walk. Whoa! We
do have Zycalian Militia still available for BOD. BOD also deploying everything in their arsenal to take the advantage. This looks almost insurmountable as just a sheer number of units just creep on through. Not to mention, GNG just loses 2 more units. Best to retreat. I don't think it would be wise to force your way up into the A point. BOD just getting completely crushed right now. They do send out the cavalry, tries to kind of, I don't know, just skirting around, not really engaging against the halberdiers. I would say that the Zhangji Heavy Cavalry are actually pretty good against halberdiers. Fortunately, we got some Rattan pikemen being a bit annoying. Thanks to you, Sloppy. So yeah, the B point would have been put more pressure on GNG. I think it would have been better to push. Well, I'm convinced that BOD cannot lose this. With the A point now being captured, the B point should get captured. Very rarely do you ever see a defending team actually try to defend the B point, especially after the A point has been captured. I would also make a note that like the sheer unit deficit is over 200 units. Well, I mean, I'm only considering the tier 4 and the tier 5 in this case. The tier 3 can work well, not that well. You've got to every tier is just almost insurmountable when you consider unit to unit. We do have an interesting spear militia here. That was my question. I think their best bet was to hold the A point. If like the thing is that like GNG just took really bad fights. They also got trebbed really hard. I think BOD made great use of the treb. I think oh man, I'm not sure. Like GNG probably wanted to end it on the wall, and the position they were in just felt like they had to do it. And again, now we're here. We're gonna have to see if GNG can make up for just the incredible amount of difference right now. They are also losing units as well. Another treb comes through, mostly hitting wall, but one big treb straight onto the serfs did happen. We'll probably have battles on multiple fronts as the spear militia does get attacked. Got another treb onto the wall section here. Probably going to hit hard. I think 1 or 2 is going to make it. I think 2 of them are going to hit. Whoa! Get stopped. 1 hits, 2 hit, and we got 2 hits straight in. But we have the front section right now. Iron Reaper smashes straight into the Man-at-Arms. Man-at-Arms was not prepared for that, but the Wu Wei instantly deletes that charging Iron Reaper. Right now, they could pull through, but it's a phalanx. It's double phalanx right now. One of the more difficult things that I would push in, one of the most difficult things to push into is a halberdier phalanx. One of the most damaging race units you'll ever see. Though off to a okay start. The exchange was not really positive. Now we are on to the base point here, probably the more important of the fight. Although GNG just does not look like they are able to stabilize. Luckily, the cavalry does come in, sweeps up a couple of units, but gets handled quite easily. The heroes are surviving, but less than 260 units in total for the defenders, with a unit deficit, a total unit deficit of over 350 right now. They're going to have to see if they can defeat heroes, but with the Wu Wei on point, I don't think that's going to be I don't think that's going to work out very well. The counterattack has begun, though. The Wu Wei are are just blending up every single unit that's heading towards their point. Holding strong. Phalanx is doing well, but completely surrounded, and units just getting straight on top of it. That Treb as well just finishes off the major section. Wu Wei also get taken out, surprisingly. I did think that the Wu Wei would have probably cleared up the Phalanx much better than that. The Longsword finally gets taken out by a Grape Shot. But BOD wins their attack quite handedly, I would say. GNG taken quite a few fights that were very strange, especially after the first one. I think GNG has the potential, but they don't have the timing. The pace was very much in line with BOD. BOD was, I mean, we're at a slower pace right now. We have shield units, we have pike units being deployed more often, and it's just going to be very, very much slower. Trebs particularly are going to be very much more important. And if you're going to try to defend the wall, Trebs is your main threat. Artillery is basically no threat to you, but the Trebs is basically your biggest threat. You kind of want to pace out your enemy, and if you can't pace out your enemy, you're just going to be on a losing bet. GNG's first battle was quite spectacular, coming in huge with a Daikilian militia explosion into the center of their line. Problem is that they could not close it out, which was probably the main problem. Once they lost that wall section, especially in the second push, like the losses just kept creeping up like crazy. And you could see that GNG was just dispersed, like one by one, units were rolling in. There were a couple of guys on the stairs, and big hit, by the way, from the Shenji straight into those Wu Weis. But the problem is that like you should have just cut your losses and run there. Instead, they threw up 2 additional units just to die. It was an okay start here on the wall on the backside as well, but again, I think the map is kind of a bit offset here. BOD doing quite well for themselves. A lot of them scoring into the highs. I do think GNG is gonna have a hard time if BOD maintains their advantage. And what I mean by that is the pacing. The pacing of BOD is slightly slower than GNG. GNG definitely look like they want to push into BOD, but sometimes they don't do very well. So you got small losses in very strange ways. When they lose the wall, it's like they give up and just start throwing some units. Yeah, sloppy. I do think I have to agree with you there. Or maybe overcommitting? I feel like the follow through was just very sloppy. They should have made a hard decision, regrouping. Yeah.
I mean, overcommitting. Definitely felt like overcommitting. I don't believe they gave up. I think they wanted to defend A. The thing is that they just didn't know how? Or didn't realize they were losing. It's kind of one. It's kind of, yeah. You're right. It's kind of like one or the other. It's just it might be one or the other, but I don't want to believe it's giving up. Like any team here in CBL, I want to give the benefit of the doubt that they're trying to win. So they're definitely thinking, what is the best setup? What is the strategy? GNG just could. The consolidation from GNG was just not there. And the follow-up was just very weak. Very weak. So, GNG's task, probably, with their attack against BOD, is to concentrate, is to concentrate on knowing when to push and when to retreat. If GNG gets outpaced, or if they get paced out by BOD could easily just attrition GNG down. GNG kind of just always been a team where it's just like they pull off these really weird strategies. Like last time in CBL, they threw out a weird composition of just like a lot like claymores and they won. Like the claymores carried hard, and it was just very surprising. And so a lot of times it's just like I feel like sometimes GNG does things but doesn't realize that they're doing well, and then at the same time doesn't realize they're doing badly. GNG doesn't tend to pick their fight with scrutiny. They tend to just pick the fight every time. Yeah, and I really thought they will win this round after the first fight. Like, in terms on units, it's pretty equal, and they still have the wall. Yeah. Having the wall is, particularly after the first battle, is quite powerful. I'll be back in a second. Alrighty, back. So, BOD just started the next battle. Hopefully we get to see... Hopefully we catch it on time. But yeah. I seriously thought that GNG, although the fight was quite equal, I did think that that BOD edged out very slightly. But maybe it's because I didn't consider starting conditions. The problem here is that the choices from BOD to fight again on that left-hand side was quite interesting. But GNG taking that second fight, I just felt they they took a lot of heavy hits. And I don't believe that G&G just accommodated for the Trebs. Because first of all, in the first fight, they were fighting in a section where it was actually difficult to treb. I think at the end, where they pushed to the corner, BOD kind of trebbed themselves as well. It would be nice to see G&G kind of pull through a second time on the wall. The number of resources for the attackers is quite huge though, so we have to always remember that maybe if the Treb wasn't there, the attackers, I mean the defenders probably could have won. But it was really realistically just like good Trebs coming out from BOD that really caused G&G to plummet. Every single hit was just completely devastating, basically taking out like half a unit. And the things that it didn't kill was basically half dead. The explosion damage is not exactly small. A direct hit will basically kill you. Try not to walk through here. Well, I meant for the babies. Okay. Naked. Just don't walk. I mean, obviously it's a camera's on. My goodness. BOD won the first match on their attack. Right now, G&G is going to be attacking on Conqueror Castle. G&G put up a good fight. I think it all went downhill after taking a few bad trips. And I'm still hoping that G&G can pull out a victory. It would be sad if they couldn't. I do think it would be quite good if we can see. Whoa! I've not seen this before. 5 longbows coming out from GNG. We also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 muskets coming out from VOD. GNG, your unit selection is also very interesting. Why is the Feathered Crossbowman coming out? That is one unit I've rarely seen. We also have 5 Sunways coming out. I think Sunways are getting picked a little bit more. But still, I mean, the Wu Wei and the Imperial Pike Guard are getting some other things are just getting selected way more right now. We also have plenty of the Demez Spearmen coming out. We got a couple of shield units. Shield units, I think, can be important, especially for screening, but on the attacking side, shield units are not that useful. You want to maximize your, aggressive strength. Oh, for sure. If GNG has 5 longbowmen, that means they're all light armor at the very least. That means they're going to be switching out to maybe Chain Dart or Jewel Blade. I don't think they're going to be switching out to Shortbow. Shortbow right now as well, with runes, is actually pretty frightening. Though, I wouldn't put it past you. Maybe it could be a thing. We have the longbows just kind of getting up onto the towers here. Though, it does look like they have practiced their shots. Instantly taken down. Ooh. Oh, big hit! Big hit! Palace Guards takes an L with double hit straight onto that and a tail end. Oh, what? I swear they hit harder than that, but
But only losing 4? Wow, disappointment there. Disappointing Treb.
First blood.
Oh, there we go. Big Treb onto the Lancelots. Sacrificing a couple of Surf units. Surprisingly, because of the healing, thing, they are actually quite difficult to kill. 20% damage, 20% damage reduction, plus the amount of healing. I don't think Surfs don't have any battle prowess, but they're not exactly squishy, which is the kind of strange thing. But when you have damage resistance is always just, yeah, whatever. It's just like, it's the most powerful thing you can have in the game is just a lot of damage resistance. Obviously, like, the antithesis of that is just to have a lot of damage. Or is damage resistance the antithesis of damage? Now it's great to see that we have a mortar here firing towards the supply point. The bad thing here is that it got destroyed. And it's another thing again. It's where this right-hand siege tower gets destroyed. Oh man, this one's gonna die. Oh, he hopped down. Hopped down again as well. I'd hop off already. There's no point. You can't even shoot the can't even shoot those things. I always call the middle siege tower the Tower of Death because it is seriously one of the worst. It's kind of like one of the worst things to do on any map is to go up the middle siege tower. And hello, Mass Claim Z. Yeah, we watched amazing Treb straight onto the Lancelot Knights. Still trying to Treb that Lancelot Knights. Does tag one extra guy. I'm kind of disappointed on the Palace Guard one. I totally thought the Palace Guards would have taken more damage, but they only lost 4 units. They probably already healed up by now. Alright. BOD making a composition. Still trying to push that. Oh, I do love myself some Claymores. Arthur bringing out them Claymores. Still for suppressing that right-hand siege tower. Left-hand siege tower also getting suppressed, surprisingly. I think it has something to do with this Scorpion. Ah! Jessica! What happened? Did something happen to my stream? I don't think anything's happening to my stream. Not a lot of action, just a lot of time. Horse does go down. Trying to take out some things in the back here. Whoa, I did not see the 2 cauldrons. Man, that slow from the chain dart is pretty annoying. Oh man. I like how the chain dart is just outrunning the horse there. Oh man. Down goes Cascat. Cascat. Man, that chain dart was sending the short sword on a run there. Short sword is probably one of the better classes to chase. The shield throw with the shielded charge is pretty much the best chasing tools you could ask for. Whoa! Did you see that? Short bow just takes out the marks for death there, or yeah, mark for death, I think. GNG actually makes actually gets the left-hand siege tower up onto the wall. I don't think BOD swapped out many of their muskets, but my goodness, I don't. This is a scenario where it's just like all of their slow units are going to have a bad time. I think the muskets especially if they can time it right, is just going to slow down this attack so heavily. I want to believe that GNG's got a strategy besides just going up these siege towers right now, because they're totally prepared for it. We also have Aseps here, going to be a bit of a squeeze. Ooh, just the ISGs on one side. That phalanx should pull up. This side's about to be cleared up. Also, straight through the gate! Whoa! Imperial Pike and Wu Wei just munched straight on. We got some Claymores here at the front, double Iron Reapers, and Zykelia Militia just burning up the front, this line from GNG. GNG is falling down. Iron Reapers just cleaning house, man. Or maybe it was the Wu Wei. We also have another battle on the middle siege tower. Should just keep on top of that siege tower, see if they want to commit. I definitely do think that, like, you should support these ISGs. Keep them interested. If they keep these troops here, that would be great. But obviously off to a bad start, getting pushed out instantly. The sacrifice from GNG was actually not terrible. We're only looking at around about a 60 unit difference. Middle siege right now is doing well. Could do a desperate push, but it's going to be a bit of a slow trickle. Got 3 minutes left to go. GNG is now on both sides. Going to see a lot of artillery, and I definitely think it would be wise. Whoa! BOD did not take in the defensive route. Goes straight in, catching the phalanx unit straight away. Imperial Pike March comes through. GNG, what are you doing? You're sitting back right now. Whoa, no they're not. They catch the tail right now, heading on to the A point. Surprisingly, there are bagpipers out on the field, but right now, catching BOD on 3 different sections, but we also have BOD catching the supply, the flag point here. This is the weirdest multi-directional fight I've ever seen. We also have GNG just pulling away right now. Imperial Spearguard don't do very much damage, but they are catching a couple of units. Just keeping them off the point right now. Another explosion, probably from a musket. Musket has one of the lowest cooldown ultimates as well. 40 seconds for that black powder bomb.
Child's play.
The ISG is surprisingly still standing, and I think the yep, just went into a pocket there. GNG does take the A point. The unit difference closed very slightly here. Very slightly. Oh, wait, no, I've been reading this wrong. GNG is up by about 45 units right now. GNG being up by 1 unit in just like a straight fight. I think GNG's gonna win this. But we're probably gonna see the first B defense we've ever seen. I don't know why. Oh, very strange. GNG wants this B point. Honestly, I'm not sure about you. I would have went straight to the base point. If I saw this many people from BOD, I would have crept up here, swung back around. Force the BOD players to go towards base point, and I've picked up B for free. But maybe I could have just won it. Starting off. Whoa! Did not taking heavy damage from the Falconetti gunners. About 4 minutes here. B point starts off fairly strong right now, taking out 2 units. Just one of them is a Rattan Pikeman. Could attrition them out. Big hit! Oh man. Here comes the Zwanji Heavy Cavalry, just cuts down the back line. Cavalry coming out from BOD, just messing up the back line. This could be extraordinarily dangerous as BOD is closing up onto the infantry line. GNG makes a fatal mistake getting caught out, and I do think that's just going to close up GNG's ability to win this battle.
A walk in the park.
That was such another multi-directional fight, and GNG taking the initiative to kind of, again, this is kind of like BOD's outpaced, like definitely putting GNG on the spot here, and it's kind of amazing how the pressure from the Metallators, the cavalry flank came in, and just the infantry bait, like GNG tunneled super hard on just the few infantry that was presented. Now the reversal here is just insane. I didn't think that they lost that many units, considering that they still have the cavalry out on the field. But infantry-wise, GNG still is up technically by a unit in terms of higher tier units. The tier 2 units is probably going to be the most hassle, especially since like the Demented Spearmen will take forever to kill. Going again for the B point. They don't have time to waste. They can't wait for these units to kill out the halberdiers. They must fight. But they do a massive swing towards the base point. This is going to be charging straight through. Honestly, I would also send a guy towards the... Whoa! Could have the cavalry come up through the back line. Oh man, this is going to be fight for the base point right now. We've already got 5 seconds capped off of it. They're killing off the heroes one by one. Fenris goes down. I mean, East goes down. Just got to deal with the halberdier unit on the on either side. I'm hearing some grape shots, but I can't see them. Grape shot actually gets taken out. Men-at-Arms surprisingly holding out strong. We've got the phalanx units bracing instantly. Let's see if the Iron Reapers do clear up the point. Definitely looks like a strong performance out from BOD, but slowly their heroes are dying, their units are not being controlled. Swept up both the Phalanx and the Iron Reapers, sweeping up now just the heroes. One by one, the heroes just throw themselves in. We got a grape shot here in the back as well. Whoa! Grape shot from high. With only 3 heroes left, no one on the point, no units on the point, 11 heroes from GNG. BOD cannot save the base point, so it will come down to a grassland assault. And this is the thing that I said before. If you see that many people on the B point, just go straight to base. GNG taking the fight on the B point was very strange for me. The first fight. But, as you can see there, the defenders had no chance of setting up properly. GNG also bringing out all of the artillery for the final push. And, again, it was kind of a bit back and forth. It was rushed. GNG doesn't have spectacular units to fight off against the BOD's spectacular units. And again, the tier 2 units did bleed out a lot of their units. The men-at-arms were probably clutch here. Tier 2 units do not deal enough damage to kill the men-at-arms, but they will take a long time to kill. So the fight will go for a while. The halberdiers, they really needed to protect those halberdiers. If they kept the, if BOD kept the halberdiers alive for a bit longer, that would have been a game changer. Iron Reapers come in late. The Phalanx comes in late. Not only do they come in late, they also in a bad formation. And I mean, when bad, is when they're stacked up. Very counterintuitive. Phalanx, the Sunway Phalanx is a unit you don't want clumped up. Clumping up the Phalanx actually puts them in a weaker position because you want that area denial. You want them to struggle to kill your unit. You have 40 models on that unit. If they're all clumped up, high hit limit units will just eat through the unit instantly because each individual model is very weak. But we do see a stronger performance out from BOD, more cohesion out from BOD. GNG's no slouch though. They're definitely taking some fights and they're definitely winning. Look at Mokeke or Neru. He has 10 hero kills, doing the Lord's work here with the chain dart and scimitar. Also, one person actually still remained on the longbow, surprisingly. There was like 5 longbows out from the beginning. We also saw that the muskets did get switched out for BOD. Muskets were probably a pain in the ass on the wall, but when it comes down to actually fighting, best to have something more flexible like a pike. I want to just close this up really shortly. Is that I was kind of scared for GNG. They're taking weird fights. I think everyone can agree it was very weird fights, but in the end they did win. So now we're going to go down to a field battle, and this is where weird fights could really come in. If they take in fights, I do think. Oh, I can't spend time with you. I'm commentating for a thing right now. I think GNG made BOD think that they really want to capture B before the first fight on B. Oh man, that would be some. I'm not sure, man. That seems like a. How to put it? That seems like a. That seems some kind of high level like psychology thing. The problem is that I wouldn't have committed so much resources for it. GNG committed quite a bit of resources to the B point that it made no sense that they baited the B point so that it would make BOD overcommit. They were overcommitting to the B point in the first place. Well, is GNG. GNG just takes any fight. GNG always kind of surprises me with just how they handle things. They seem kind of silly. At the same time, it works. Like, as long as GNG is not exactly losing the fight, they somehow pull through. They pull through. So this is just a scenario where BOD had a mental lapse where they think we've got better composition and we're going to win out against GNG. So if GNG takes a fight, we win. Oh, looks like GNG's going to the B point. We'll be at B point. You are already at B point. You expect GNG to go to the B point. But the silly thing is that GNG did go to the B point. Anyone would instantly tell you if the enemy team is defending the B point, go straight to base. On Conqueror Castle, it is a tactical failure to fight on the B point for the defenders. The only time you defend B is when A is still being held. I actually do think it's actually kind of cool that we do also have the official stream as well. Oh man. Now we're heading down on to BOD versus GNG on the grassland. It's going to be a tiebreaker, and I'm so excited. Yeah, they should have done that immediately. But they over-rotated. Like I didn't understand why they rotated to be in such a manner. They also got caught off because of the because of the Falconetti Gunners. The Falconetti Gunners just instantly just annihilated a bunch of the guys. Oh no, that's not good. I seriously hope the guys on the official broadcast do realize that they're playing live. They're playing live. There's no delay on their side. Oh no. I don't want to point it out, but it's just like they're so far ahead that there's no way they're not playing live, which is bad because if any of oh man, that's really sketchy. That's really sketchy for them. I'm surprised that they didn't clean feed properly. Alrighty, Grassland Assault. Very surprised that both of the teams didn't set up their unit roster before coming into this battle. GNG not coming out with a ton of cavalry is very surprised. We also have lots of iron caps being chosen. Actually, no, I take that back. Those are Corteliers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 Corteliers. Corteliers are slightly cheaper. I still don't know why. Maybe it's because of the setup. The Lancelots, the Sunway with the Corteliers. Maybe that's just how it's set up. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 guys with the same setup. Gonna be very interesting. Yeah. I'm going to wait until this match is over and then just. Oh man, someone already said. Yeah, someone already said so that they're live with no delay. Nevertheless, we started off on the field battle. Grassland Assault. We see a lot of Grassland Assaults. Well, it's the only tiebreaker map we'll see. Good thing it was changed from Emerald River. Emerald River was such a snooze fest. Straight on through, we have camels coming out. And also the heavy prefecture. Got also some companions. Companions kind of just being let go here. You want to try to control your companions as much as possible. They're really great in open fights, and particularly spectacular when you're coming in fully powered up. Obviously, both team takes their safe points. The B point does get picked up by GNG. We got ballistas coming through. I do think camels are very tanky. I think they can tank 2 ballista shots, and then we've got concerns. GNG destroying the barricades? More camels do get taken out. Very unfortunate. We have 2 units here from BOD, defending the base point. This could come in important. This could become important later on. Ooh, nice to see some ranged units here on the field battle. Underestimate ranged units, and you will be sorry. Also, is it just me, or this is like the barricades for the certain barricades have disappeared? Is that a playback issue? I think that might be a playback issue. That's no good. Alright, since it's still quiet right now, I'm just going to exit spectator mode really quickly. And load back in, see if spectator mode fixes that. I would be really upset if there's a massive battle happening. Alrighty. That did fix up, and we do have a massive battle happening underway. Straight up, Imperial Pike Walk just gets completely deleted as it tries to move forward. Does look like the blue shield does protect the phalanx from the shot from the mortar. We do have Lancelots coming down towards the forces. The Zwanji Heavy Cavalry does get picked up. Big win for GNG right now, but getting slowly trickled out. Right now, probably going to push forward. Phalanx does protect the ranged units right now. Companions didn't pick up any kills here. I do think that GNG picking up a big advantage right now. Whoa! Big advantage right now. I think they picked up more than their fair share of units right now. Now, the important thing here is we're probably not going to see an A-cap point. That would be a very funny reversal. But we see a lot of Zwanji Heavy Cavalry coming out. The best thing to do is to spread out. You've got a lot of long pikes. You want to avoid having your long pikes all be locked up in an infantry battle. So you want to spread out as much as possible. Lancelots also should be the core of your force. You shouldn't need to have your Lancelots out on the flanks. If your Lancelots are out on the flank, they really need to show up the center. Seriously. Lancelot should be right front and center right now. You got plenty of space as well. They pull out of the B point. The Rattan marksman also shooting towards the point. Whoa, cavalry battle is companions. Boom! Hits the Zwanji Heavy Cavalry, but the reversal does come in with three. There are three Zwanji Heavy Cavalries there. Now we're off in a battle for the B point right now. The side gets completely collapsed in for the phalanx. Wrong direction. Right now, barely holding on. Does get a Imperial Edict straight onto that. We got the Lancelots finally pushing in. Clears out the Iron Reapers. Zwanji Heavy Cavalry comes in with force. Comes clean through that phalanx unit right now. The Iron Reapers clears up the Medaus here. What happened to the Lancelots? I'm not entirely sure, but I do think they just got beaten out. Lancelot's sitting back. I would not push in right now. You've lost this battle heavily. Outnumbered and outgunned right now. Lancelots go on through, but get locked up completely. Iron Reapers also right on top of them. Lancelots should go down, but they do take out quite a few, in fact. That unit advantage just flips super heavy towards GNG. BOD taking that fight so hard that GNG probably not going to be able to recover. Got a lot of low tier units. BOD has quite a few high tier units. We got about like, so they've got about half a lineup of high tier units. Okay, a little bit more than half a lineup. This guy still has Imperial Pikes and Sunway Phalanx. Maybe the Imperial Pikes took a lot of damage. Tan Marksman should come out. I'm not sure. I'm seriously doubting that. Oh, Bencho out. He is out of units. This is very bad. You have units. It's really bad when one of your players is out of units, but you still have units. That means he's lost his units too fast. Yeah, GNG is definitely on the losing side here. I don't doubt that BOD is going to win. It's just very surprising that they lost so hard. Now, again, I love cavalry fights and definitely think that a little bit of skirmishing goes a long way. The battle for B point is going to probably be the most important. GNG, unfortunately, just don't have the units. They lost so hard in that second. Like, I was surprised how hard they lost that second battle. Now, the problem here is that because the Phalanx have so many models, this could actually the number of models could actually be deceptive. GNG's got 3 minutes. I'd like to give myself 3 minutes when attacking a point. They try to use on mortars, but if anything, they should be focusing on pulling BOD out. I think forcing fights away from the B point is the best strategy. If you can win this fight right now here, you take whatever you can get. We've got companion cavalries also looking around. A lot of units just pull back because they're afraid of the cavalry. Kind of a strange cavalry charge. Does take off the tail end of the companions. Oh no. Zwaji heavy cavalry gets taken out. Companion cavalries are definitely scary. The A point is also being captured. A point does not have any defenders by the looks of it. One guy is running towards it. But we have the B point also. Whoa! Phalanx pulls away. They stopped attacking as the Lancelots go into the back line. Easily gets swept up as the cavalry cleans up. Wu Wei Mansion Guards also cleans up. Again, the control for the Phalanx is very strange. Non-committal from GNG here loses out advantage, even though they could have easily seen some kind of victory. Triple cap now comes into play. GNG has 90 seconds in order to cap a point back. Unfortunately, there is only a minute 20 left to go. B point also looks to be closed out as Halberdiers comes to reinforce. There's still two Wu Wei Mansion Guards out on the field to clean that up. They spawn in to delay. Iron Cap Scouts comes cleaning out. Zwanji Heavy Cavalry just sitting there, not even on attack mode. Very unfortunate. The A point is held heavily. I do think BOD, after that second fight, was winning way too heavily. We've got some strange rushes towards the C point. Not sure why that's going to change. Sorry, I have to sound so depressed right now. It's just like there's no way GNG can kind of pull a reversal out of this. I just don't see it. Like, the path to victory is nil. Oh, surprisingly, the points actually tick a little bit faster. And there we have it. BOD wins the field battle. I do think it was kind of a slow death for GNG. And it's just another thing. They got outpaced. I mean, when they're on the attack, GNG seems competent. Seems like, yes, they've got this. They know what they're doing. On the defense, it looked weird. I'm not sure what you were doing. Like, you kept pulling units back. Almost retreated. Sorry, you retreated right off of the B point and just kind of flipped and just pushed back in. The strange thing for me is that your final point was, I mean, your final fight was so non-committal. Like, your Sunway phalanx kept pulling off when you were pushing in, and that left you super vulnerable when you finally pushed in. Now, I do think that there is potential for GNG, but dropping the ball like this, I think GNG needs to reevaluate rounding off themselves, getting more, if not. I think GNG just needs to. I think GNG needs to know when to commit as a team. Individually, I think they're working okay. So when they're attack and when gain an advantage, they can just be themselves, push towards the enemy, and take advantage of all of their skills. But as a team, it's sorely lacking. Especially when you have BOD just kind of working their way to try to gain an advantage, and GNG just kind of just hands it to them. Nevertheless, that is the GNG versus BOD fight. Um, I hope we get another set of battles shortly. So I'll see you guys in about 40 minutes, and that should be the next set of battles. We will hopefully be watching MKT versus DOC. There is also the VNH versus AP. VNH versus AP is going to be on Kuruk Castle. MKT versus Doc is going to be on Hailang Fjord. I will see you guys. I'll see you guys in 40 minutes. So hope to see you there. Other than that, be right back.
I am back. And very surprisingly, someone decided to give me a new cool avatar. And I absolutely love it. Oh my goodness. Honestly, I mean, like, I'm so thankful. So thankful that, like, I just want to show it off. You guys will probably see it, but, like, it's so cool. I think it's so cool. Ah, not sure. Why isn't it showing? That's weird. Yay! Hamster face. I think this is actually quite adorable. Although, for some reason, it's a hamster with 6 fingers. Good enough, I would say. I think it's still funny. I still love it. Anyway. Oh! Interestingly enough, the VNH versus AP battle kicked off right away. We're 3 minutes ahead of schedule by the looks of it. Something like that. Wondering whether or not the developers will stream the second set. But yeah, Current Castle is for between BNH and AP. We will be watching the MKT versus Doc fight on Hai Long Fjord. Apparently Doc is not ready. Please wait. Hopefully we get to see an exciting battle. I'll try to... Well, I mean, I kind of want to watch all the battles, but I can't. I would love to, but unfortunately, like, you can't. How many people are watching the VNH one? You got one guy watching the VH one. It'll probably be able to open in like 2 minutes. I'm having a little bit of a fight. Hey, MSC. Right now, we're going to be waiting for the Doc versus VNH fight to start. I do have, if you guys want to watch some of the other ones, I do have, this guy.
I'm kind of watching on the side here as I'm waiting for the MKT versus Dogfight to kick off. Oh, it looks like a lot of people are actually watching. Oh no, just so just two. So me and this guy is watching the MKT versus Dogfight, and then two other people are watching the VNH versus AP. I guess it's interesting, mostly because it's on a map that I would say not many would pick. Correct Castle, especially with the changes, is an interesting attack. Mostly because I think Correct Castle is a little bit difficult. More difficult than something like Heilong Fjord. Heilong Fjord is really straightforward. I definitely do think that like there are some rotation issues, but like Heilong Fjord is fairly straightforward on how you attack that. There's like very formulaic. There's very few variations to it, where it's just like, oh, this could happen, that could happen. On Kura Castle, a lot more can happen. There are still definitely structures to thing. Yes, I did. I changed it. I did change it, Varnus. Bakuya has handed me a very cute looking hamster drawing. Though I did notice that taking a closer look, it's a hamster with 6 fingers. So it has 6 fingers holding what looks to be some kind of console. I think it's funny, but I'll leave it. I'll leave it. I do love the hamster overall. A small hiccup like that is barely going to be seen since the avatar. No one's going to zoom into my avatar most of the time. And again, it was just something that like was. I had a hamster as my Discord avatar for the longest time. Now I've basically replaced everything with this image, which is funny because I love it. I never thought about getting like official like. I never thought about getting official things like that done. I think I just didn't really care that much. So it's actually kind of nice to have something personalized for you. So it's cool. I think it's cool. I think it's cool. And yes, I do enjoy the kind of like space hamster looking thing. Anyway, MKT versus Doc right now. Here on Heilong Fjord, we're just taking a very quick look. Looks like Doc is going for more tier 4s. We got a really cool setup here. I think this is a really interesting with the ISG, Wu Wei, Companions, Wu Wei, Imperial Pike Guard, sorry, and the Companion Cavalry. So you got a triple tier 4 lineup. I think I think triple tier 4 lineup could be a very good go-to for if you've got a very good stable team. Also, the tier 4 just offers so much flexibility like this. With the tier 2 setup, you only can bring in 2 units, so most of the time you're really bringing in specialized units that are guarded and kept safe, but a lot of people still bring in a lot of the higher tier 5s to kind of muscle out the enemy. Doc in particular bringing out quite a few Lancelot Knights and Iron Reapers. Oh, I can't press. For some reason, tab brings up this screen for me. Oh, no, I'm not having that. I hate the visual effects
that when depending on who you come off of, you get visual effects. So if anyone's got visual effects on their attire, you'll see it, and it's really, really cool. Does that mean I'll be streaming more? No, unfortunately not. I'll only be streaming. I'll only be streaming how I have been streaming, very irregularly. Well, I mean, I'm definitely going to be streaming the CBL. I want to stream all of the CBL. That is guaranteed. There's like nothing like not for the APAC side of the CBL. I don't want to. I don't plan to stream the Americas or the EU ones, mostly because I just didn't set aside the time and I haven't set up the schedule for it. Also, there's a little bit of crossover. So, fairly interesting bombardment. We've got plenty of artillery being used here. Still interested to see why a ballista is being chosen. I believe there was a ballista. I believe I saw a ballista shot. Not sure if oh, yep, there it is. Right there. So they try to just kind of poke out heroes like that. Now, I do like Palace Guards. Palace Guards offer a very good substitute for the ISGs. Lancelot's just sliding in there. Should have just pushed the attack. You lose more not pushing than trying to run away. Very interesting approach right now. Half-half. You've got plenty of guys coming through this wall break, being challenged though immediately. We also see a massive fight on the other side. Medal's probably going to get cleaned up here. Going to move over to the secondary fight, which has already cleaned up apparently. Doc holding very strong. Both assaults just falling flat. That is a very devastating start, if I do say so. Very strong performance out from Doc here, closing off their victory with nearly... Oh man, how much damage are we talking? Wow. Doc did not take very many losses. We're looking at probably 15-ish units. 15 and a half units getting taken out for MKT. And Doc lost maybe 7 units? Man, this put Doc on a massive lead in terms of units and unit quality. I mean, you can already see it's already like 450 unit deficit, but again, can't really trust that since 372 of it is tier 2 units, so. So MKTs will need to make up for the losses somehow with a landslide victory. Doc is aggressive, kind of takes the supply point, surprisingly. MKT being very one note, I would say. They're definitely wanting to fight. Whoa! And the pot thing just being used right now. Lots of things happening right now. Zwanji Heavy Cavalry straight into the pikes here. Does look like the main line is breaking down for Doc. Doc needs to get that secondary line pushed up. They're trying to push through, but looks like both of the Sunways have managed to hold back the enemy, slowly killing them off. Looking at the wider fight now. Oh, Zwanji Heavy Cavalry just beats out the other Zwanji Heavy Cavalry.
Sunway Phalanx is holding strong. Does seem to... Ooh, Companion Cavalry does munch on through. MKT running out of steam here. It was kind of good. The Companion Cavalry just slowly losing out. Unfortunately, a second heavy loss for MKT. Could be an easy close. Got to rush towards the A point here. Halberdier units are going to rock on. Do they set up in time for the cavalry? They kind of do. Oh, look at that brace. Easily handling that Iron Cap scouts. Unfortunately, the Companion Cavalry just bulldozed their way through. We got... Oh. Hate to see it, but even Corsaliers against Halberdiers just charge heavy. And I think it did take out quite a few of the Daikili militia. The Wu Wei Manchungars just do a double whack and actually manage to take out quite a bit of the Companion Cavalry. As much as heavy cavalry charges on through, takes off half of the Imperial Pike Guard. We've got to fight towards the finish here. Very desperate as they just kind of charge their way through. But here comes the counterattack from Doc. Does seem to be a bit chaotic. They are winning.
Child's play.
Companion Cavalries do a leap forward and then just get crushed by the Imperial Pike War coming through. Getting completely pushed out now. We do hear some ball throwers, but is it ball throwers from... Yeah, it looks like it's ball throwers from Doc. Very poor performance coming out from MKT here. Will the chain dart survive the last 3 seconds? Oh, barely surviving by the skin of his teeth. That 1 second invulnerability rune does come in handy. Lots of permadeath. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 permadeath for MKT. Lots of hero kills for Doc. Doc doing a masterful job. Choked out at A, choked out at B. Definitely do think that Doc is the stronger of the two teams. MKT needs to really figure out what they want to do. The battle extended a little bit long for B. I think realistically, supply point is very important. So what you want to always do is have a contingent just burst through to the supply point. The hard thing here is that they kind of left the Sunway Phalanx left to its own devices and essentially just attritioned out every other unit. ISGs are not particularly great. They can get on top of the Sunway Phalanx fairly easily, but ISGs are not killing that unit, not by a long shot. I expected a little bit better performance out from MKT, but maybe Doc is just that strong. You should see the second setup battle being set up soon. The battle for VNH and AP is still ongoing. If this is another fast battle, we might be able to catch the second battle of VNH versus AP. Oh, why not? I guess he wouldn't mind, right? Alright, just for a little bit. Oh, yeah. Give me 2 seconds.
Um, I'll post his link. I've already posted his link actually. So if you guys are interested in continuing to watch the VNH versus AP fight, you can go visit his YouTube channel. We're just going to watch this until the next battle of Doc versus MKT happens. So just enjoy the fight. I will probably leave most of my comments out of this, considering I'm hoping that this guy is doing a very good job commentating, but you'll have to go see his video or watch his Twitch if you want to hear his comments. I will say, AP has a 240 unit advantage here. Not exactly sure in what, because I probably missed it, I'm not sure in exactly what scenario. Ooh, very interesting. They could have trebbed the bottom of the stairs if they were going to move up like that. You also see plenty of phalanxes from both sides, in fact. Through a pipe wall coming out. AP looks a little bit more cohesive, but the front line is losing. Just a massive spikes right now. You're not gonna win if you sit back. You need to once you start attacking the pikes, you need to overwhelm them. But getting attritioned out, looks like VN House will probably take it. Though, I must say, going for the flanks. I'm not sure if those rattan marksmen can even shoot that far. I know they can shoot the point. I'm not sure if they can shoot behind the barriers. Oh, getting surrounded there. Just overwhelmed by sheer numbers now. VN House looked like they were going to be having a strong setup, but just full. Very unfortunate for VN House there. I'm not sure what they could have done better. I know that they could have probably pushed out their phalanx a bit more aggressively. At the end of the day, it's just like, it's good and dandy that you have a good phalanx, but they're not very good pushers. Again, like, if you want them to be good pushers, you need to be quite aggressive with them. You can't just wait for the enemy to push into you. They're not that stupid sometimes. Especially if you're facing off against other brace units. Other brace units will just happily just stare at you. I've had competitions where it's just like, oh, there's just two brace units staring at each other, barely touching. Like one or two units just happen to be within brace distance of each other, so one would stun the other, and it would just be like, oh, cool. Neither one of us wants to move, because our strongest state is the brace state, so it's just like, whoever moves first will probably die, or take the most damage. But because of the powerful tool of the Sunway, of able to roaming brace towards your enemy, I think that, like, especially for attacking sides, you should not ever be sitting back, especially so far away from your front line. You should be right on top of your front line, but you can't be, because it's like sometimes your front line can't hold back. Also, the damage output from the brace alone is just so low that it's just non-threatening. If you're advancing forward, that is the best time for enemies to counterattack you.
Ares Flurry is the only thing they need to worry about, and most of the time they just tank it. Best thing to do is just tank it. If you can flank the Phalanx will pretty much be screwed. The stun embrace is very powerful, as all stun embrace is, but there's a lot of units that ignore it, or just has protections against it, so it's just not going to be as difficult to deal with. Surprisingly, the battle for Doc and MKT hasn't even started yet, so that's really annoying. So it does seem like we're probably not going to be able to watch the rest of the second battle of VNH versus AP. But the second battle for Doc versus MK will start shortly. Hopefully shortly. I'm not sure how long 3 minutes is. Sometimes it's just like, I wish they just had the observer button have like a clock on it counting down, telling you when you can start observing, or whether or not it's been disabled. Because I'm pretty sure there's a button inside the settings where you can disable, enable or disable the observer. It would be cool. But I don't think they're listening to my comment. Maybe it'd be too difficult to like implement. Oh, see daisy, what did I do? Ah, I pressed the Windows button again. Oh no, I copied nothing. So sometimes I accidentally press C instead of V, and then I try and press V again, and it's just like, boop. Alrighty, second battle for MKT versus Doc. Doc attacking this time, splitting up their forces. It's going to be interesting to see what MKT plans to do. Everyone there on the A point. I'm willing to bet Doc takes this, but there's quite a few cavalry available for MKT. Still seeing low numbers of Sunway Phalanx. I definitely expect Sunway Phalanx to be a little bit more popular. It does seem to be a growing trend that Sunway Phalanx is growing to be more popular. They are seemingly high performance units. But whether or not teams can properly incorporate them is just another question. I think it's just teams don't have enough experience playing with or against Sunway Phalanx. That a lot of times the Sunway Phalanx is always the last one alive, and it always feels like, oh my goodness, they're so good, they're the last one alive. That's because every other unit has gone forward and just like has a shorter range. So Sunway Phalanx do have that kind of cushion, of layer protection, especially. What I don't understand is like the low level of micro from the Sunway Phalanxes. Sunway Phalanxes are essentially broken if you can continuously micro them the entire time. But the thing is that they're super hard to keep on microing, especially if your hero gets like put on the ground. But if you micro them and maximize their damage and making use of their range, you're basically like running around poking people, and it's basically the same as if you play a javelin unit, but your brace alone is your brace alone is already a threat factor, just not that threatening. Looks like a hero just going to get instantly clapped. Doc just grabs that longsword and just annihilates him with the Wu Wei brutal sweep. Honestly, that is painful watching a good old cheesy rough justice into whatever. Just use a damaging skill of your unit. I've seen a lot of units have skills that allows them to just allow them to just get on top of a single hero. The whole unit of like 28 models or something just smacks you. Even if it's for like only 2,000 damage each, you might have a lot of health at over 3,000, but when 28 models are hitting you, like, you're not surviving. Doc super spread out. We got some Rattan pikemen marching on forward. Unfortunately, the halberdier sergeants and the palace guards easily handle that. I want to try to keep an eye on both fights here, but we do have a fight happening here. Sunway Phalanx marches forward, kind of marches back. This is a good time to cover your guys. Push forward, push forward. Whoa! Grape Shot could have taken out hero there, but I think it missed. Alrighty, Sunway Phalanx a little bit late to the front here. Does look like another push towards the wall break.
Wipe them out!
Winning, by the way. A charge in the back here sweeps up the remaining forces. The Lancelot's barely surviving, but the Zwanji Heavy Cavalry comes in for the defenders. Gets half killed. I think half stopped, sorry. Try to get that off. MKT is falling down as they get completely surrounded here. The heroes are barely surviving as they kind of waltz around the point. Good victory for Doc here. I'm fairly certain that MKT can recover, but whether or not they do is another question. Unfortunately, it does look like the Poleaxe will not escape as a shield throw comes in to finish him off. Hard to say whether or not it would be wiser to take a fight. I'm of the opinion that MKT want to avoid a fight as much as possible. They want to kind of... I think direct confrontation with Doc is the worst thing you want to do right now. I think what you want to do is we want to spread them out, spread them thin, and attrition them. You want to minimize your losses and maximize time. So spreading out. Good formations, by the way, although I would probably use the follow formation to spread out your phalanx even further. I think a good old line formation needs to make a comeback. Frontal barrier has that. Oh no. MKT also has a couple of guys out in the front here thinking they were going to do a catch, but instead it looks like a reversal. No one has died just yet, but they are getting low. Doc picks up one hero. Well, I don't know where he went, but definitely dangerous. Treb about to land. Could see a good Treb. Oh, dangerously close, though. If that was directly on top of him, he would have been gone. We've got some... Well, we have the Berserkers looking to just get stunned the entire time. This is why I don't like stun on brace too much. I mean, I understand it in concept, but the frequency it stuns is just hilarious. It's every brace tick, and every brace tick is like every quarter of a second. Oh my goodness, he got stuck. Does he get support? Oh no. The glaive, although he wants to support, he takes a heavy hit. Mortars coming out from Doc. Hitting hard, by the way. I think quite a few. Man, I think he lost another set. Good time to make use of lower tier units. This is where I'd kind of have a couple of higher tier units just skirting around, while a lot of low tier units just running about. Even if they do push, I think the low tier units should be able to cause a delay. Especially if you have a supply point. If they push for the supply point, throw in the lower tier units, they're going to die anyway. Get that time to get some higher tier units in, they will weaken. Obviously, you want to kind of have still some preference for setup. Got some Lancelot Knights pushing up on the stairs here, just not very many. Probably just let them go. Gungnir Heavy Cavalry takes a massive hit, though. Only 2 of them did lose their lives. We've got most of them still remaining. Doc is taking their time. Definitely not being overly aggressive here. Slowly pushing VN House. Slowly pushing MKT away. Most of the time, these bombardments are useless in CBL. You can't bombard, wait 1 minute, defenders charge unit, then push. Well, the thing here is that it works. It works. Don't think it doesn't work, because look, MKT has already pulled away from that choke point. The strongest point of this choke point is the bottom of this stairs and this rock. That is the strongest point you want to hold as the defender. Past that point, certain death. It is just a losing battle. Particularly if you want to protect against Treb, you can go a little bit offset, but you'll still have this entire stretch just vulnerable to Trebs. Now, thing here is that there's not very many tools that MKT has to delay the fight, but 2 good pushes. We've got 1 push towards the supply point right now. Could be dangerous. Could be dangerous if they just leave these guys by themselves. What you want is definitely just to make sure that supply point is not captured and just hold back these guys. Don't want them to combine up. But I mean, the bombardment from Doc hasn't stopped even as they approached, which is amazing. Probably one of the few times where bombardment with the push is very important. Now we see a big Imperial Pike March just collapse the line. Gungnir Heavy Cavalry just goes straight through that backline. Although Doc is winning the majority of that fight, we do see this Lancelot still holding on. Most of the Sunway Phalanx is still alive as well. This could be a strange cleanup fight. Let's see which heroes are winning. Does look like Doc has lost an additional hero. Can we see more heroes on hero battles right now? Big Treb on right now. Does look like that short sword is in danger. Could see him die, but here comes. Whoa! Corteliers does clean up a hero here. This could be a desperate defense on the supply point. No heroes from. I mean, like, this is the weird thing. It's just like MKT kind of wants to die so they can spawn units in, because the supply point is completely locked up right now. At the same time, Doc has lost a couple of his heroes, but now they're respawned in with units. MKT pulling up forward. I think this is a bad move. Gonna lose the unit to Imperial Pike Walk, and here comes the Palace Guard. Palace Guard makes a retreat, though. Better off just letting them die. They're gonna get caught. Or not, surprisingly. Most of the Palace Guards seems to be... Oh, I want to say they made it out, but never mind. Poleaxe does a big old hit, smacking them. GG Cook also just... Oh, I did not see that cavalry just rock on towards the base point. MKT has a little bit left in the
A
tank,
walk in the park.
but right now, MKT is not on this point. They're going to have to try to get their way out. They're going to have to try to fight their way out. This is one of the dangerous things about the final point. These two choke points are very easy to block off because they're so narrow. Oh my goodness, that is brutal. The entirety of the companion cavalry just getting blocked up. I don't know what happened there, but their pathing just, all of it just right against the wall.
We're unstoppable.
And there we have it. Doc chokes off the MKT. MKT does lose this round. Very unfortunate. A little bit better performance, but still, I want to say that MKT is normally stronger than this, but unfortunately, Docs does seem to dominate from start to finish. Well, maybe not start to finish. The D-side fight was pretty good. The only problem was that they lost the A-side fight pretty heavily. Not sure if it's due to just like resources management, but nevertheless, the extended fight towards the supply point kind of unnecessary. I felt like the heroes definitely should have decided whether or not fight to the death or either fight to the death or retreating. If you respawned, I think if you started to respawn, I think they should have just consolidated on the base point as a much better strategy than going back down to the supply point, because this is the tricky thing. If you're winning in heroes, they can spawn right next to, right behind the houses and just throw in units. So attackers have a huge advantage when they use the death respawn, and if the supply point is locked up, you can't pull out more units. So as a defender, you gotta really make that conscious decision: die, respawn with a unit, or retreat. Well, I mean, die and respawn with a unit is one thing, but like retreating could have been an option. I think if they consolidated their forces earlier instead of waiting for the enemy to kind of get new units spawned in, they could have probably won the day. Now, the the battle for Vian House is kind of closing up. I'm just going to say that hopefully Vian House just closes it out with a victory here. Oh wait, hang on. If they close, oh, okay, that's a field battle then. I must say though, Vian House is surprisingly holding. They got about 1:10 left to go, and the worst thing is that if they lose either A or the B point, they're probably in a lose-lose situation. They're over 500 units down, and there's a stream of cavalry just going straight to the B point right now. I'm not sure what Vian House is going to be able to do. If they can skirt around this B point for like at least 30 seconds, they've closed it out. But every single person from AP is heading towards that point right now. They need to get people blocking off that front gate right now. But luckily, we also have an ISG onto the B point right now. VN House is at a massive disadvantage and seriously biding for time. But that ISG has ISG has basically blocked off the B point, and I would say AP has no chance of taking the attack here, although they have a huge advantage in terms of units. They just don't have the time. VN House, well done. That was good. That was good. It's 1-1 right now. So that means we do get a field battle. So the Doc versus MKT. So Doc did win.
And we have VN House versus AP going into their third battle. So we're going to be able to catch an additional battle today, guys. But my brief viewing of both All Planets and VN House, All Planet does seem to look to be the stronger of the two teams. But VN House is playing objectives here. I am not going to count them out. So on this field battle, I'm hoping they show us something cool. Nevertheless, I hope everyone just shows us something cool. They're taking a short toilet break apparently. Oh, I gotta make sure that whether or not I'm working early today. Nah, normal start time. Only Saturday. Normal start time tomorrow, Friday. Nothing on Saturday and Sunday. Huh? What do you mean? Does this look like World of Warcraft? Anyone casting this? I'm casting? The battle just hasn't started yet. Oh, no. Which team do you think I'm on? Also, I would not be streaming my own battle. That would be silly. Also, I think they have a rule against that. Maybe they don't. But I mean, like, yeah. Be very silly to have a streamer also be a participant. Sorry. It's not silly to have a streamer be a participant, but it would be really silly to have the streamer be a participant and stream his own battle. Especially since, like, he has no time to even consider the stream. Or shouldn't. It would be a distraction, mostly. But, like, especially if it's live, that's just like, he's gonna get sniped like crazy. Alright, does look like the battle just kicked off. Got about 3 minutes before we get to go in to the observer mode. And this is going to be the tiebreaker between VNH. I like how they put VHN versus AP. That's really funny. But it's VNH versus AP. And we did watch Doc versus MKT. And Doc was pretty dominant. I do think that MKT could have probably I say could have probably. I'm not sure. They really need to shape up on on unit control, unit positioning, and general strategy. Always general strategy is kind of like the biggest part of nearly any team. CBL is classically a big leap from normal sieges. There's additional rules, there's also a lot of balancing factors, but CBL has the most interesting plays because it is 15 people in Discord together playing against 15 other people in Discord together. So teamwork is just super important, and your overall strategy. So even if you're very far away from each other or not directly helping each other, your teamwork across the board needs to be in a coherent manner. You need to be tackling battles. You need to be tackling battles that are necessary for you to win. There are a lot of times, especially some teams that are showing that, like, when they can split and win certain battles, or win both sides, that is where their teamwork is coming together. A lot of second-rate teams are bowled up. So they'll have all 15 players kind of work together, but they'll need to stay together. Thanks for the raid, dude. Does look like we're gonna get the final grassland. We're gonna get the grassland assault here between VNH and AP once it opens up in probably another minute. But I hope you guys, coming from the other stream, enjoy the CBL for the APAC division. So strap up. We've got one tiebreaker, and I do enjoy field battles a lot. I think field battles are basically the most enjoyable. I think field battles are the ones that can change the most. Wrong password. But yeah. Alrighty, final battle for tonight. We got AP versus VNH on Grassland Assault. I'm always interested to see how much cavalry either side brings. The other thing is the number of ranged units. Ranged units can be very potent on field battles, especially since a lot of the confrontation happens at B. People underestimate how powerful ranged units can be on field battles. So we do have a couple of Rattan Rangers. We got a very, 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 very important Siphonari. Strange that they didn't pick up the ball throwers, so that's going to be interesting. I think AP here, just on select, going to be at a slight disadvantage. Now, I'm very interested to see that they're also bringing out Pike Militia to beat out some of the cavalry here, but VNH not bringing out that much cavalry. So I'm very interested to see how we end up overall. I do notice that there are very few anti-infantry or anti-polearm units coming out from AP. They went super heavy on the polearm units. A lot of Badows, a lot of Badows, a lot of Pike Militia. Oh no, I take that back. A lot of Lancelots. Okay, that puts them in a much better position than I thought they did. Still coming out with the Men-at-Arms. Men-at-Arms is a strange pick. Honestly, I don't particularly understand why anyone would choose the Lancelots. Lancelots are not Lancelot. The Men-at-Arms, they're not particularly good. Oh, brutal. Camels take a heavy hit. Should have just braced. While they're in their bracing animation, they get that 60%. But off to a good start, to say the least. AP makes an aggressive move towards the A point. Gonna see the majority of the fight here.
Oh, very interesting how that cavalry came through. Also swing by, clearing up that front line. Phalanx is holding on the edges here. Sunway Phalanx is slowly getting crept on. They're getting surrounded. Perfect, but the Medals are sitting back. I don't know why they just don't get on top of this. The NH is going to lose as they're not sending in any more reinforcements towards this. Oh, no, here we go. We got Zwanji Heavy Cavalry. Might want to go all the way around. Iron Reapers coming through. Oh. Zwanji Heavy Cavalry not going deep onto the Medals, but that's fine. Infantry can deal with it fairly easily. Cleans that up. Oh, boy. Missed fight here at the B point as well. AP, heavy losses. Losing both of the fights here. Tries to go for the back. Tries to go for the back of this formation and the front of this formation. We've got two great shots. Blasting away. Imperial Spear Guard just gets right on top of that formation. Excellent push from VN House as the entire Medal forces gets knocked down. Unfortunately, Medals are pretty tanky, so you're gonna need something else to follow up with some more damage. They're not exactly the easiest thing to kill when you've got that armor stacking, but as you can see, overwhelmed by just the sheer damage of the cavalry. They're gonna pick up maybe one or two of these Zwanji Heavy Cavalry, but nevertheless, that is two Medals down. I think they picked up the Imperial Spear Guard. Now, I'm not gonna count all planets out just yet, but that was a very aggressive push. A and the C point getting captured, so AP almost winning on the A point, by the way. If they committed more people towards the A point, they could have probably flipped that and pushed towards the B point as VN House had to rotate. Whoa, VN House! Throwing out the heroes one by one. Grape shots coming out as well. Yukimura, good job getting on that point. Unfortunately, he is not a short sword. He has a long sword right now. The B point is getting reset again. Buying that time. Gotta be careful. I do think one of the other things that is very highly unnoticed is whether or not heroes have respawns. Doesn't look too bad for either side, but if VN House takes another good fight and kill off some heroes, I think All Planet's going to be in a very, very tough situation. Again, another push towards the A point. But VN House is making a mockery of the formation, catching off a couple of units now and again. Zwanji Heavy Cavalry just being left to their own devices here in the back line. Better not leave them. Taking off a little bit extra each time. The Wu Wei Magic Guards just right on top of that phalanx and watch it disappear. Zwanji Heavy Cavalry just spins the Medals around. This is going to be dangerous, as VN House was expecting a fight at the B point, but All Planets definitely here at the A point. To be honest, I'm not sure what you could have done. I think a push towards the base point. I think a push towards the base point could have been one of your most aggressive moves. There's a lot of things you can do here, but going on the defensive right now, VN House is going to lose more units as they cannot consolidate. The Lancelot's definitely making up the difference on the infantry fight. VN House is not making use of the cavalry to take him out. Fallen back now. We have an assault towards the B point. Could be a triple cap. no rushes towards the base point right now. I think they're going to try to. I think the forces are going to try to attrition out those that remain. Look like they're retreating.
A walk in the park.
A little bit of a scrap here at the B point. Companion Cavalry versus what looked to be Wu Wei and Lancelot. Did look like they won. AP is losing some heroes. Vian House also lost some heroes, but I think AP is in the worst position. What's scary here is that AP could have made a break for the base point at any time, putting a lot of pressure on Vian House. But as you can see, here's the thing. It's just like there's plenty of units still available, and both sides are losing lives. 2 people from Vian House, dangerous, and way more people from AP on the last life. I do think AP is in a scary position of trying to keep Vian House on the defensive. I would not be surprised. If they can get the bow cavalry in, kill off the halberdiers, put pressure on this base point. They could go for a triple. I think a triple would be the win condition for AP. Not a base point, a triple. Vian House will have to go for the A point if they want to victory, but easily switches to the B point. Let's see if they can hold the forces. Again, we've got some guys heading back towards the B point. We're just going to have to hope that the A point captures. Let's see if the B point is holding, since that does seem to be the larger of the 2 battle. We've already off to a bad start. Vian House is losing heavily. Lancelot's all over the place. I definitely do think a triple is going to come out. The holding forces at A dies off. We've got no one at A, but B point's going to get captured. Whoa! A reset at A! A reset at A. B cap being captured. And we have a win condition position for AP. AP winning so hard right now. I'm not sure if Vian House can recover. Vian House had the advantage of units just fairly slightly, but the Lancelots and the cavalry usage from AP, keeping that pressure up. Speed is key on the field battle. Not even fighting towards the B point until the very end. That A point was very important. I think here, Vian House, major decision, lapse in decision was not to defend the A point. I do believe that defending the B point both times was a serious lapse. They should have all in the A point and then force a fight at the B point. But because AP kept them on their toes, kept switching between A and the B, they definitely striked when Vian House was stretched thin. Just the final struggles of Vian House as they get surrounded. The Lancelots were slow because they get locked up by that stun-on brace, but they will beat out the phalanx units eventually, especially when it's not in formation. I didn't realize that the Vian House is still holding back some guys for the base point.
A walk in the park.
Very unfortunate. I definitely do think Vian House was doing well, but letting AP have the initiative the entire time, just that moment of that lapse in judgment of trying to get back that position of superiority just caused Vian House to falter at the moment of victory. Well, not moment of victory. I mean, like there was a good amount of time for like all of them. Now, with over a minute is going to clock down, they're going to try to defend the base point, but I'm going to be honest with you, there's probably a couple of permadeaths from VN House. We've got 2 permadeaths from AP and massive unit losses for VN House here. Oh yeah, sure. Phalanxes are basically balanced against the current meta. They're good in all situations, mostly because they work as a support unit rather than a mainline unit. It's kind of weird. Like, you would expect the Sunway Phalanx to be more of a frontline unit. It's not. It's a secondary line. You never want your phalanx to be the front. Funnily enough, if you do have the phalanx at the front, you need to have it rotate really fast, meaning that the moment the enemy push in, you need to pull back and have something else take the front, because phalanx units are pretty much garbage frontliners. Are Fortibraccios frontline? Oh yeah, Fortibraccios are more frontline than the phalanx unit, because let's put it this way: Fortibraccios are up front, baseline, stronger. The What the Sunways do is that they have a Ares Flurry, which allows them to do a lot of damage really quickly, but that comes in every 10 or 13 seconds. So the problem here is getting a lot of Ares Flurry when you need it. The best thing that the Sunway offer is the stun on brace. Fortibraccios don't offer that stun on brace, so it's very much not going to offer that kind of support. So what you want with the Fortibraccio is to provide damage by being in contact with the front line. So it's weird. Both of them kind of have the same weakness, but how I would use the Sunway and how I would use the Fortibraccio is slightly different. The Fortibraccios definitely are. I mean, both of them have the same weakness. They're not true frontliners, but I would always keep the Fortibraccios much closer to the front line than I would the Sunway Phalanx. Yeah, they have Stun on Brace as a doctrine, but this is CBL. You don't have doctrines. Yeah. Educator string. Both of them are Super Lance type infantry. They're not going to work as a front line because they're just not frontline units. It's very easy to kill them once you're on top of them, and there is several units that can get on top of them, especially shielded units. No, I think that refers to the free attack mode in the normal mode, not the brace mode. You see, the Sunway Phalanx attack mode is weirdly clunky compared to the Fortibraccios one. With the Fortibraccios one, you can XV and it feels good. The Sunway one, you try to XV the Sunway and it's just like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know how to say I don't know how to say this. It's just like they try to attack but they don't. So yeah. So I also want to explain a little bit. I mean, this is probably not about the battle themselves. I'm kind of unhappy with VN House's decision, like indecisiveness with the B and the A point. Just sacrifice the B point, take back your A point, and then attack the B point. You're serious? Like, the longer you're left in an A or C position, the longer the longer you're in a position where you only have the center point, the more you're at a disadvantage. Why? Because the enemy can easily switch to any of the 3 points, no matter which one you attack. So just attack your safe point and just try for the B point afterwards. But that's all for the VN House versus AP. AP winning 2-1, so that is cool. I know what you mean. They think they have Forte, longer pikes, and Artie to attack from too far away. I'm actually not sure what you're trying to say there. The problem with Sunway Phalanx is everyone thinks that this shield is meant to do something. It doesn't. It honestly, it does, but at the same time it doesn't. It's not as strong. Put it like this. That shield is pretty much as good as a small shield. And I'm not talking about the high tier units. I'm talking about surf level. That shield only has a 200 block. It also only protects the left side. That is one of the coolest things about the Sunway Phalanx is that the shield only protects one side. Oh, yeah. They try to attack from a longer distance, but like they're either too close to attack or they're too far to attack. So they're just kind of in this like weird wobbling state where they're not at the right distance to attack, and it's just so weird. But then the enemy is spread out thinly and hence giving slight advantage to the team controlling middle to distribute and reallocate troops. No, no. This is where it's incorrect, where the enemy is spread out too thinly. The enemy is not trying to defend the point. The enemies are not trying to defend the points. In a position where you have A and the C point and the enemy has the B point, would you defend the A point if you saw that the enemy was coming was coming for the A point, like heavily? No, you wouldn't. Because you're at inherent disadvantage at the A point anyway. It's not your safe point. There is no supply points. If you lose at the A point, you lose everything. So you wouldn't defend it. What you would do is go for the B point. The enemy has to deal with whatever's at the A point, and whatever's at the A point needs to be dealt with quickly. Because the problem here is that if you misallocate the troops, you will lose B point before you can recapture A, because the enemy will not defend A. If the enemy defends A, they're stupid. They will go for the B point 100% of the time. They will leave 1, 2, maybe 3 units. Just units that will buy time. They only need time to threaten you, and you need to over-allocate and crush whatever's at A to take back the A point, because you're at a disadvantage anyway. Now, there are circumstances where you can defend the B point and take the A point back, but that is trusting your team way too much. There are very, very few scenarios where the team that is in the center has the advantage. Almost every scenario where A and C is captured and you have the middle point, the enemy has, man, like whoever has the A and the B point has advantage. Like it's not even a joke. Like no matter what you do, you stay in the middle point, they hold A and the C point. You go for the A point, they go for B. If you go for C, if you go for C, they go for base. There's nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. Yeah, theoretically, like the advantage is terrain. It's a terrain advantage kind of thing where although the B point and the A point is close in a triangle like thing, you have the rotation here is still slow enough for the enemy team to take advantage. They just cut off your tail or they cut off your head as everyone's trailing behind. Anyway, um, so let me just quickly close up for the CBL. I mean, I've pretty much already explained what I wanted to explain, and again, not sure if VN House even thought about this or whether or not they did think about this, but if I was the commander of VN House, drop B. Have one or two guys try to defend B, go for the A point, take the A point. If I still have B by the time my army gets back, great. If I don't have it, fine, whatever. I take it back. But because they got triple capped, that was it. The moment they got triple capped, VN House already lost. The fact that they tried to take back both of the points simultaneously, they lost even more because they lost so many units. All right. Although we do not have. Okay. So, we watched BOD versus GNG. Did look like FNR versus TLDR ended up in a forfeit, leading towards TLDR winning by default. We watched MKT versus Doc, winning with Doc winning, and then we got to watch the tiebreaker for VNH versus AP. AP winning on the field battle. Now, we will see each other again on the Saturday, but it's going to start at 3 o'clock. It's kind of a weird time, but we're starting at 3 o'clock. I'm wondering whether or not they actually meant. I'm wondering whether or not they actually meant a later time, but 3 o'clock is the allocated time. So let's see where we go from there. So I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Um, that was all. Well, yeah, that was all for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. But other than that, my name's Atsuka. Have a nice day. Bye for now.